This coming weekend, we have the official Strongman Games. This is the World Championships for almost every single weight class. And for the open men, it's your chance to get to World's Strongest Man. Auntie Liz, we're going back to Florida for OSG. I cannot wait to get over there, see so many familiar faces. We've met so many new athletes that when I was competing, it was just focused on the open heavyweight strongman, the pro side of things. We've had the pleasure of learning about the women's side of the sport, the under 105s, the under 90s, the under 80 kilo men, the masters. So much strength action, and some incredible athletes will be competing this weekend in Florida.
So for those that don't know what the official Strongman Games is, like we've just touched upon, it is the World Championship for the different weight classes and also for the Masters as well. So whoever wins official Strongman Games under 80 kilos, they take away the title World's Strongest Man under 80. So there's loads of weight classes. There's over 300 athletes competing.
There is a lot of athletes competing.
They're going to be doing 7 events over 3 days. As you can imagine, this is a huge operation, but Lynn Morehouse gets the job done. I don't know how. I don't even know why. No, it is really a truly incredible weekend. Last year was our first time there. Honestly, a bit daunting, like, oh my goodness, where do you even begin? There's so many people, but it's so much fun, isn't it?
You've made lots of friends as well. So.
I've made friends, so I'll be okay now.
You'll be okay this year. And I'm doing the commentating for the full weekend alongside Gabe Pena, which is going to be really cool. Gabe has an awesome voice as well.
Great voice. You're going to have to up your voice game, Lozzie.
Well, I'm going to let him win the voice game. You know, he's going to win the hair game as well.
Wow,
I'm going to take the beard game.
Yeah,
yeah. But no, we're looking forward to having Gabe on the mic with me. That'll be really good fun. But yeah, should we take a look at some of the events that these athletes have to do?
So we're not going to go into this in minute detail because it's all on the website. It would be too much because obviously each weight class and, you know, the men and the women, they're all doing different weights, but they are
all doing the same events.
Exactly, yes.
So the way the official Strongman Games works, they're quite big groups of athletes. Like in the open men, for instance, I think there's over 50 athletes just in that one class. And day 1 and day 2 are kind of like the qualifying days. And then day 3 is the final.
Yeah.
So day 1, Friday, November the 11th, we have the Viking Press and we have the Farmer's Walk. November the 12th, day number 2, we've got the axle deadlift to start things off.
For reps, isn't it?
Axle deadlift for reps. And then we have the sandbag to shoulder. And this is going to be brutal.
Nasty.
The weights set for the sandbag to the shoulder event are going to be crazy. It's 5 sandbags that they've got to do. And just to give you an example, the men's open are finishing on 170 kilos. That's old fat loss.
And the women, the open weight women are doing like 125, aren't they?
Yeah, every single class, the weights are really, really heavy for that particular event. So what happens after the first 2 days, the top 10 from each class go into day 3 and they remove the points from anyone that's been eliminated. So just as a quick example, say you were second in an event, but the guy that came first on an event was then removed from the competition because he did so badly on maybe some other events, your points will go up. So it would be as if you won that event.
Yeah, so it's
and it would
kind
just
of
go down to like a 1 to 10 rather than 1 to 50.
Exactly. It's to remove the massive gaps between points, and it's as if the top 10 were only competing against each other come day 3. Yeah, because otherwise you'd have
you'd have huge gaps. Say someone like Mark Felix, who maybe would drop a fair few points on the log against everyone, but he's got those strengths. In the final, his gap wouldn't have been so big. Nicely done, Lizzie.
Thank you.
So events for Sunday, we've got the car walk, we've got the circus dumbbell, and we've got the Atlas stones. It's 6 Atlas stones that they do at OSG, not 5. The circus dumbbell is a medley. And then the car walk is the traditional car walk from last year, very similar to the car walk you guys would have seen in Giants live shows.
Now it is impossible to do predictions for this competition.
We're not even going to try.
There's too many people and so many that we just don't know enough about. We don't know their strengths or their weaknesses. We couldn't, with any sort of accuracy, do predictions, but we are going to give you some names that we think people should be watching out for. So should we start with the open men?
The open men.
And this is an important category because the top 3 from this get to go to Giants live shows next year. So we saw that last year. Pablo Cordiaca ended up going to Europe's Strongest Man and World's Strongest Man this year. And then also obviously Spencer Remick competed in the Royal Albert Hall. Tyler Cotton, bless him, injured himself before the Glasgow show, which he was supposed to be in, but that is going to be carried over to next year.
Well, Spencer Remick is coming back, which I think is really, firstly, admirable.
Yes.
But it's kind of what you need to do. Until you are established and being invited to the big shows, you've got to keep proving yourself.
Keep plugging away.
And I'm very impressed to see Spencer come back to this.
On that note, he's not the only person we've seen at a Giants live show that is coming in to do this. Nedsmin Ambeskovic is competing in the open men's show.
Again, Nedsmin needs to prove he's a good all-round strongman. We know he's an amazing deadlifter. He'll be looking forward to the axle deadlift for sure, but he's got to show he's capable in those other events. Another big name, Wesley Claiborne, former America's Strongest Man winner. He's competed, fairly regularly on the international scene. Wesley's been around for a long time. He's been on the cusp so many times. So
I feel bad for Wesley.
these comps are hard. There's so many good guys. Someone I've been extremely impressed with for the whole of this year really is a guy called Thomas Evans.
Yes.
Thomas Evans has done incredibly well. The winner of the Amateur Arnold's, winner of the Shaw Classic Amateur competition.
Yeah.
That guy's already set for a big 2023.
He's already guaranteed himself entry into the Arnold's, the Pro Male Arnold's next year, and also the Shaw Classic next year. So if he can come top 3 here, he also goes to Giants Live. If he wins, he's got a very good chance of going to Worlds.
Absolutely. Another guy I'm looking forward to seeing is Josh Silvers.
Yes.
America's Strongest Man from a couple of years ago. Huge man.
I was going to say, I hear he's massive.
You like a big one, don't you, Lizzie? Another guy I'm interested in seeing is Oscar, and I'm going to butcher his name, is Zilowski, but Polish athlete competed Zilkowski.
I don't know.
I will ask him when I see him.
Yeah.
But Oscar is a great strongman. He won one of the Strongman Champions League shows earlier this year.
Yeah.
Looking forward to seeing what he can do at OSG. So the big news for the under 105s is defending champion Nick Canby just last week announced that he is unable to defend his title this year, picked up an injury, and it's just not improved enough. So there is going to be a new champion.
Yeah.
Nick done very well in the under 105s the last couple of years.
Nick is brilliant, and I love watching Nick as well. He's such an entertainer. I'm very sad. I hope he still comes.
But lots of talented athletes. Justin Loy from last year, Matthew McKeegan, one of my athletes who came second at Clash, is competing. Whole host of fantastic athletes. It's going to be another competitive class, and I'm looking forward to watching it. So the under 90 kilos, I don't know so many of these athletes, but we have a returning champion from a few years ago from New Zealand. I'm going to butcher his name.
Say his name.
Nagani Ahipenny. It's close enough. I'm
something
sure.
Like that.
He did tell me once, but he said it's so fast that I'm struggling. So I'm going to make him slow it down and teach me how to say it properly. I promise you, on the stream, I will get it right. But I'm looking forward to seeing him back in the mix at this one.
And this is something we should point out. Last year, like athletes from Australia and places like that, they were still unable to travel internationally. Yeah. So now it's a more diverse lineup this year, which is very exciting.
Of course, we've got last year's winner, Nikolai Myers, Uncle Nick. He is a fantastic strongman, broke his dumbbell world record earlier this year. Looking forward to seeing him back in action as well. The under 80s were really competitive last year. We have the return of last year's champion, Richard Panganaban, which is just the best name in the world to say. You've got Tommy Lynn Lavelle. Yes, he's the former champion from the year before. Yeah. Those two could have a good battle.
Yeah.
A number of other great athletes coming across as well.
Really interesting class. And we should point out Lynn has this like weight matrix for how he works things and decides the different weights. And the under 80 kilos guys do the same weights as the over 50s guys. But interestingly, in that over 50 weight category, you've got the likes of Mark Felix and Nick. And that's not to say anything about Mark and Nick. They're over 50. They deserve some lighter weights now. But it's interesting because these guys, they're not going to like this, but they're small, aren't they, Lottie? They're quite small.
They're small. You stand them next to Mark or Nick, they're going to look tiny. They look
tiny next to them.
But extremely strong.
Very strong. That's the whole point I was trying to get to. They're strong.
So a really interesting class. I know a lot of you will look forward to watching. I'm looking forward to it myself. Is the Masters. Yes, over 40s World's Strongest Man. Zydrunas Zaviskas is returning. Rauno Hainler is competing for the first time. Dimitar Severtinov, that guy, last year he competed at this show and he was beastly strong. When it came to just the strength, static strength, he was flying. just faltered a little bit on maybe some of the more fitnessy and throwing type events.
And stuff like that, yeah.
I'm interested to see what Zydrunas does. You know, he's got some real competition this year.
He has. It's going to be no walk in the park for Z, is it?
Not at all. Unfortunately, Jerry Pritchett has pulled out.
Yes.
He's got some engagements he can't get out of. So no Jerry this year, but some great new faces such as Rauno Hainler.
A new face.
Well, a new face to the
this
Masters.
yeah.
Next year there'll be another new face.
Oh,
but,
yes.
You know, we won't talk about that right now because there's some bloody strong guys in there.
Yeah, you might need some more time to think about this.
You know, think about this.
I cannot wait to
Jits
see.
Kramer from Netherlands. Looking forward to seeing him. You know, they just go through the list. There's so many great athletes.
How fun is it going to be to watch Rauno on the 300 kilo axle deadlift for reps?
I don't think he's going to find it fun.
Cardio. he's been using a cross trainer to train for
He
this
needs
one.
to be fit, definitely. The over 50s men's, Liz said earlier, you've got not just Mark Felix, but Nick Best as well.
Yes.
Both competing.
Good for them as well, because last year we were like, what's Mark now, 56?
Yeah.
And he was like, they won't let me do the under 40s. Or over 40s, sorry.
Over 50s.
Over 50s, yes. They wouldn't let him do the over 50s. But
Well, now the over
I don't
50s is
think that
competitive. You've got Chad Coy in there as well.
Yeah.
I mean, Nick and Mark, that's going to be a battle.
Is Chad Coy over 50? I thought he was over 40.
Yeah, so it's going to be a hell of a battle for an over 50s comp.
Yeah.
And there's no guarantee. I mean, Mark and Nick, both incredible strongmen, but both have the same weakness.
The overhead.
Yeah.
But surely, after a certain age, a lot of people struggle with the shoulder and elbow
I think
mobility.
that's
what we commonly see.
That's what we like as well about the Masters. It gives the athletes a chance to. That's why I'm looking at doing it. You know, I don't want to compete against these young, fit, healthy lads.
No.
I want a few of the battered older guys that kind of struggle a bit
some
more.
lower weights as well.
Well, the over 40s weights, to be fair, very heavy still. So.
Yeah, it's the same as the under 105 weights.
Yeah, but like when you're looking at the weights, you're looking at 410 kilo car walk.
Yeah,
I think
no
the
joke.
Viking press is around 150 kilos. Yeah. The stones go up to like 180, which you see in Giant Slide comps.
Yeah.
So they're pretty heavy. Now the women's classes are absolutely stacked.
Yeah, they are.
The men's are good, really good, but the women's classes, I dare I say it, I'm more excited about the women's classes than the men's.
You said it, that's it.
Yeah.
You've done it.
So the Masters women, we've got the return of Aisha Ullah, last year's champion. Now the interesting thing for me with the women's competition, there's a number of women competing in the open class and even the under 82s that could also compete in the Masters, but they've chosen to compete in the more competitive classes. Which
Andrew and Donna, obviously being two of them, two former world's strongest women open weight.
Yeah.
Corey Butler also. She's not
unfortunately
competing.
Corey's had to pull out due to a bicep injury.
But she's a master as well.
She is, yeah. I think the women seem to be able to age better than the men. So fair play to you all. So the under 64s is going to be a battle. You've got last year's champion Shannon Smith now, former Shannon Clifford. She won last year.
Yeah.
You've got Rhiannon Lovelace, who is just the absolute powerhouse in that class. Kira Rickson, the American record holder in multiple lifts, super powerful lady. Kate Connolly, really good performances we've seen from her, and a whole host of others. Stella Higgins, I'm looking forward to seeing. She's coming over from powerlifting.
She's
really powerful.
Freakishly strong in powerlifting, isn't she?
Amazing lifter. I think it's going to be a stacked class and very competitive.
So the under 73 kilo women, then there's been a bit of chop and changing in this class because last year's winner, Erin Murray, she has moved up a weight class to the 82. Chloe Brennan, who was an under 64, has moved into the under 73. Hannah Brock as well. Hannah? It is Hannah. She was, I swear, yes, I'm sure she was an under 82 last year. She's gone down a weight class to the under 73s. Not surprised because I remember thinking last year, she looked small to me for under 82.
She was on the podium though, wasn't she?
She was. Yeah. I swear she came second to Nadia. So yeah, interesting class. It's been mixed up a little bit, but really looking forward to seeing how Chloe does in this class because she always said she felt she was too tall to be an under 64. And she probably is because she's my height or maybe even slightly
I think there's
smaller.
lots of eyes on Chloe now as well because of what she did at the Arnold's with the Dinny Stones.
She's our famous friend now.
She is indeed. I mean, you know, when Arnold's retweeting your performances,
that's pretty cool, isn't it?
It's pretty cool. So it'd be interesting to see how she does. Not trying to put any pressure on you, Chloe, but obviously big fans here. So in the under 82 women's, we've got Nadia returning, Nadia Stowers, last year's champion.
Queen Nadia.
Queen Nadia, you like how she kind of regally walks around everywhere. Powerful, powerful lady. We have Donna Moore, former 3 times Open champion winner, has dropped body weight and wants to now try and win the under 82 kilo class, which is a really interesting thing. She's looking amazing.
She does look incredible.
And, you know, if she won that would be an incredible achievement.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, I commend Donna for doing this, because it's very hard to keep trying to chase and stay where you were.
The fact is, she's not as strong as she used to be, having dropped that weight. So there's that kind of mental side to it.
She's a master now as well. Donna's
she
been
could do the
competing
Masters.
For a while, yeah.
Yeah, and now she's trying to win the under 82. So interesting choice. Looking forward to seeing how she did. She just qualified with the British. She tore her bicep.
Yes.
That was the England, sorry.
Yeah.
And then she won the British recently, and now she is here for the world title. We've also got coming up, as you said earlier, Erin Murray. That's an interesting decision to see how much strength she can put on going from that 73s to the 82s. Can she be competitive with the slightly heavier ladies?
You have to be careful.
I had to be very careful with how I phrased that. But I think it's going to be another competitive class. Lots of names. I mean, you know, I'm not going for everyone. There's loads of names on there. A name that I thought was in it, who I can't find, is Sam Bellevue. So her and Maxine may be unable to come. They have been updating this. She was on there at one point, but not at the moment. So I might be wrong. She may still turn up. But yeah, she could be someone to look out for. Finally, the Opens Women's Comp, which for me is the class of the competition.
Yeah, this one's going to be absolutely epic. Do you know what, though? There's someone really important missing.
Well, there's a couple missing now, which is sad. But, you know, you do have a lot of incredible ladies competing in this class.
So Victoria Long is missing. She is someone I desperately want to see here.
Yeah, Arnold's winner from earlier this year.
Yeah,
would be amazing to see her competing. But let me just kind of go through a few of the names. So we've got Olga from Ukraine. Olga, former Arnold's winner multiple times. We have last year's champion, Rebecca Roberts. Saw her lift the Thomas Inch dumbbell. First woman to ever lift that. That is a freakily impressive grip strength.
Yeah, and also we should point out, Rebecca Roberts basically cancelled her whole competing schedule to prep for this competition. She is absolutely determined to take the title home again.
Gabby Dixon. We're going to see Gabby come over to the UK for the Strongest Nation competition. She is a beast. We've got Andrea Thompson.
Yes.
Cannot wait. She's been training really hard. Annabelle Chapman, who is the winner worse. Lucy Underdown, the female deadlift record holder. Ines Carrasquillo, who is phenomenal. Just a whole class stacked full of incredible athletes. I mean, I'm missing out names here of all classes, to be fair.
Yeah, of course.
But that's just some of the...
We can't sit here and read out 300 odd names.
No.
You guys don't want that.
There will be a link in the description below for where you can tune in. Myself and Gabe Pena will be on the mics, bringing you all the action for 3 days in a row. We will probably be fed up of each other after 3 days.
You won't have a voice by
then. Long days. They are long days. Just be aware of that. There is a schedule. If you want to watch specific events, you can kind of have a look at the schedule and pick and choose what you want to watch. I do very quickly want to say good luck to my athletes that are competing. I have 10 athletes competing.
My goodness.
So in the under 105s, I have a guy called Mark Bischoff. I have Ollie Clark. I have Glenn Kowalski, who might not be able to come. He's having issues with passports, but we're keeping our fingers crossed. And obviously Matt McKeegan, who has a legitimate shot of winning this title. In the under 80s, I've got a guy called Dylan Thompson. No relation to Andrea Thompson, who I have in the open class. Andrea is looking phenomenal. She's always someone that struggles with confidence, but she's in a good place right now. And I also have Jackie Ochevsky competing from Canada. She's got a great chance of cracking into the top 10. In the opens, I have Ayab Mohammed, who just came to train with me recently, and Tyler O'Moore from Australia. Another one that, you know, when you coach people, coaches out there, you kind of learn people's stories, and he's been through a lot, through floodings, through all sorts of stuff, and we've managed to get him here, so cannot wait to actually meet him in person. And finally, in the over 50s, this is an amazing opportunity, is Thomas Coate. He's a lovely guy, and he's going to get the opportunity to compete with Nick Best and Mark Felix. What an opportunity. OSG is amazing. You get the kind of former pros, you've got the up-and-comers, you've got the women, you've got the men. Yeah, it's just an amazing strength weekend. Make sure you guys tune in to the live stream. We will have loads and loads of behind-the-scenes action. It's going to be a very busy weekend for Auntie Liz. As always, guys, remember to like, share and subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you guys soon.